Okay, and hopefully we're live. Let's see if the YouTube registers. Okay, awesome. So let's get started with today's stream. So what we're gonna be doing is pirate throne. So let me just show you like some reference images that I'm gonna have on my second screen, so you can get a rough idea of what I'm trying to do here. So this is one of them, and another one that is a bit different though, but it has some elements that I really like. So this is the second one, and of course our asset is not gonna look 100% the same. It's not gonna be just a straight out copy, because that wouldn't be fun. So let's go ahead and create a new asset. So it's gonna be, oops, that's the wrong folder. Let's go under our projects and I'll just call it Pirate King's Throne. Save it, and we're in the animator. So let's create our base node, which is gonna be basically just the seat of our chair, and we have to create a new model. We're just gonna name it base. That's what I like to start with, and of course we need to import our palette. So today I'm gonna try to work with the extended palette because it offers a bit more colors. And yeah, trying to get out of my comfort zone. I usually work with the default palette, but this time we're gonna try something different, I guess. So let's see which browns do I want to use here. We could go with something like this. Let's see what this looks like. Of course, our keyboard shortcuts are not working, so hopefully this fixes it. Okay, great. Let's see. So this one is too washed out, in my opinion. So let's go with this. Or what does this look like? I think I like this one even better. So let's just start with this, and we're gonna make a very rough shape for the beginning, and then we can add some more details later on. So let's just attach it to our node. And next we're gonna do some back rest. So we can duplicate back. This one is gonna have to be taller. So let's just make it 2 blocks tall. So that's 64. And then how deep do we want it to be, or how thick? Go with 4. Don't want to make it too thick because then our chair is gonna be really small if this takes the whole space. So we center our pivot point, and let's add it to the base. So this is back. Attach it. And let's move it back like so. So this is starting to look like a chair, I guess. So we get a rough idea. I think this is now aligned. Awesome. And then we just need to do some sides for like armrests or something like that. So let's see, side I can just name it side 0. We don't have to be really original with our naming. So let's see, I think 48 would be fine, and then we just make it 8 as well, like so. Again, our shortcuts aren't working, so we have to move our pivot point first, and then hopefully they work as intended. So let's create some more child nodes. And this one, side 0. And then just move it to one side, like so. And we can then actually just duplicate the node and name it side 1. But we'll have to use different models later on because it's probably not gonna be symmetric. So yeah, we're gonna have to change that later on, but it's not a big deal. And I think I would prefer if the back was actually behind the base, like so, and then we just need to make it a bit taller. So then it's 96 voxels because that translates to 3 blocks, like so. Okay, and we're back where we were before, and let's also extend these guys so it's nice boxed outline. So we have to add, I think this is 4 thick, so 36, and just fill the color in, and then recenter the pivot point to 18. Awesome. Actually, I could make them even larger because they could be a bit more. They don't have to align perfectly with the chair, so yeah, let's make them even bigger or longer or wider, whatever you want to call it. So I just put it to 40, and let's see what this looks like. And we can also turn on the, what are they called, bounding boxes, so we actually see where our models are, because it's much more clear than like so. Okay, so we got our basic shape of what we want to do, and let's start adding some details. So where should we start? Perhaps we should start with the sides. I also like to turn on the nice edges so we can see better what we're doing. Let's see, okay, awesome. Keyboard shortcuts are still working. That's good. Now let's see, maybe 4 diagonally, and then just make some like holes, or it's gonna look like we have some supportive sticks here. We'll see in a moment what I'm talking about if I manage to select the appropriate tools, like so. So this is 4 thick, and then there's 4, and then let's go again. Or actually, I think this could be 6, and yeah, we'll see. Let's try and make it. But then I messed up here, did I? Okay, let's just go. Okay, let's first make it symmetric. I think that would be good, but then again it shouldn't be because here's the back side. So let's just go along with our starting plan and see where this leads us. So 1, 2, 3. Oops. Let's count again, not a 3, 1, 2, 3, so this is 6. Then again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Another 4. And I don't know what I want to do here, so okay. Let's just go by 4. That might be better. Like so, and then we can squeeze another one in here. Like so. And let's just make them full holes, so you can actually see through them. And then let's go out and yeah, looks fine. Okay, let's turn on our edges, and I think I want to make them more circular, so they're like circular shaped sticks, and since this is 8 wide, we need to remove some of the thickness on the sides. Let's see which axis this is. I have no idea, so let's just, yeah, that's the correct one. So we just mirror what we're doing on the other side. So now it's 6 thick, and now it's 4, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and for our last stick, like so. Awesome, and then we can add even more details by deleting this stuff, and they're like really circular, but it adds some more faces to the overall thingy. So if we exceed like, I don't know, 2000 faces, we'll have to do something about that, and probably these are not as essential as some other parts might be, so yeah, we'll just have to deal with that later. Okay, and then we could add some other details perhaps on the lower side. So if this is 4 thick, then perhaps we should also keep it here 4. Then let's see, something like this. And we'll be able to see soon why we'll actually need two different parts for our sides, because as you can see here, we don't see the indentations because they're actually on this side, so we'll have to mirror it and add it to that node. Okay. Now let's see, I don't want to start shading yet, so this currently looks fine. We could add some more stuff to it, so perhaps let's just go ahead and do it. Let's extend it a bit further, and let's see. I want to add like a little wrinkle, or how would you call it, a spiral on the side. So let's see. We do something like this. And then if it's like 6, and then just do the same thing on the bottom. Oops. Something like this, though I'm not really satisfied with what it looks like. Perhaps we should just, I think it should be a bit less circular on the top, but then again it still needs to look a bit circle shaped. Have something like this. Okay. Now let's move to our base, and here we actually wanna model only the front face because others are hidden by other objects, so it's useful to have the rig ghost on, so you're actually editing the correct one. And we can see here that we should mirror over the x-axis, right? Yeah, the red one. So I just start making some details as well here, and perhaps this can go a bit lower, or even we could do like a bit of an overhang here. So let's see, like 6 voxels would probably be fine, like so. And we can also now see where the actual middle is, because we can see our mirror plane. Let's turn on this. And if we just do some details, it actually lines up nicely with everything we've got, and maybe we can do just some other minor details so it's not as boring. Okay, and now I'm not really sure what I actually want to do with the backside yet. Also, we're probably gonna have to add some more stuff to it, so let's just go ahead and do that. So I think I want to add like a big captain's, oops, where are my hands, like a big captain's wheel or a ship wheel behind it, so let's go ahead and try to do that. So let's see, we just name it S wheel, and we know what that's gonna be. We can name it S wheel part, because we're just gonna rotate them around and make the whole wheel. Now, how large do we want to make it? So like in the movies, they're like pretty big. I mean, I can show it on camera, but they have to like span their arms quite wide to hold them, so that's definitely over 1 block. Probably 2 blocks would be fine, so let's just go ahead and make it a 48. And then the width should be, let's try with 16 and we'll see how that goes. And also the thickness, how thick is that? Let's try with 4, and we can make them smaller later. So let's just start cutting out some unneeded parts. So we have to make a handle on the sides. Actually, we should mirror this on the Y as well, because it's gonna be symmetric on top and bottom. So if we delete this, we can get a rough idea how much we have to delete on the other side. Oh, hi there, Cody. Welcome to the stream. So these are gonna be 2 by 2, like so. Then let's make them like 8 long. 2, 3, 4, One more. Okay, and of course shortcuts are not working again. So let's just recenter our pivot and hopefully they will start. Also, 48 is not actually 2 blocks. I just now realized, but let's try with 48, and if it's too small we can enlarge it later. Okay, so now it's working. And these are gonna be probably like too thick. And then just delete everything that isn't gonna be our main stick. Like so. So this should be the stick going through the middle, and this should hopefully make the wheel, and we'll try to assemble it here in the animator. So what I like to do for this thing is when I make them from more smaller assets, I could already attach the part to it, but I actually like to create another node and just add to this one. Let's move it to the side a bit so we can see what we're actually doing. Now if we duplicate it and then name it, you can see it's wheel 0, so it's gonna be W for a wheel, and then 0 for wheel 0, and then just another 0 for the first part. And this is gonna be the second part, so it's so this works like so, and then 45 degrees, so we can make it from 4 pieces, and then we can actually just duplicate this one, and then we attach it to the last node, and it actually gets rotated already. Sorry to hear that, Deepak. I have no idea what you're talking about. Perhaps you could explain a bit more, and hopefully I could answer or help you with your problem then, but yeah. So let's duplicate it again, and then just that one, and we got this kind of wheel, like a ship wheel looking shape. And as we can see already, we should delete some parts because they kind of weirdly overlap, and yeah, we don't want to have that. So we're just gonna delete. And of course, the shortcuts are not working again, so we could do it like so, or we could delete another one. Though we will have a bit of a gap here, so let's see what this looks like. It's still kind of overlapping though, but I don't think it's a really big deal because it's all gonna be the same color, so yeah. And also you have to be careful to move the parent node, not the child, because if we do it like so, then everything's messed up. And apparently the undo buttons here aren't working as well. Okay, let's move it to 0. Okay. And let's center it. Just center. Okay. How do we want to put it now? Perhaps there could be also like a mast, I think it's called, like the big pole that holds the sail, and then perhaps the wheel could be attached to it, and then something else perhaps. And also we should be careful because our monarch is not gonna be too happy if his back of the head hits this part. So let's just make the back a bit taller. So if we add another 16, that's like what, 112, I think. Okay. And let's fill this in. Then we can move our wheel a bit up. So it has 40 to 24 voxels from the center. And if it's like 2 blocks plus 24, that's 88, I think. And this should already be high enough. We could actually move it down a bit. Let's move it to like 100. So, and I just don't like it because it's actually the same width as the back of our chair. So let's see if we can do something about that. Here's another little trick. If you don't mind clicking a lot, you can actually do this. So when we extend our bounds, we can just make the middle part larger. So if we add like, I don't know, let's make it 56, we can just add here, and then we move it down again so it's symmetric. So let's see, this is 3. Okay, now it should be the same, but now we have a bit longer middle part, and we'll probably have to make it a bit. Oops. Oh, we didn't move our pivot point. That's on me. And we'll probably have to make them a bit wider, although it doesn't look too bad. We could do something like this. And just put them here. This looks pretty good already. Can we add another one so we don't have as many faces? Like so. Awesome, awesome. So this is looking way better than before. And let's see, we can do some stuff with this later, but for now I'm happy with how this turned out. And what I would also like to do is like add a skull in the middle. So let's duplicate our back again. Of course it's pirate themed, so the skull should fit nicely with the theme. If we make it 32 by 32, let's just see how large that actually is. And since it's going to be a part of the wheel, we can just create another child node and name it SKULL. Okay. So 32 is a bit large. I think if we do it like 24 by 24, and of course it's not gonna be a perfect rectangle. I mean, a perfect square is gonna be more rectangle shape because, yeah, skulls tend to be more rectangular. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know. So let's color this white. Probably I can't participate in the giveaway. Though it would be nice to get some NFTs. Let's do this, and also we can simplify the whole thing by making it a bit smaller, and then we can add some more details later on. So I think this is a this is a pretty decent skull shape, and of course we're gonna make it larger and add some more details later on. Like so. Then just make it one more. And let's see. How big should the eyes actually be? Let's make it a bit larger. Just use the something like this, 3, 4, 5. Oops, let's not do that. So like so, and I'm trying to think what I remember skulls being like. Nah, that's the top. That's definitely the top. Should we add something like this here? Or, okay. Yeah, and that's too... I preferred it before. So it looks more menacing, like more angry skull. And let's add some teeth, perhaps. So and here. Then on the top they shouldn't be perfectly symmetric. Here's one. Let's just turn these on so we actually see what we're doing. Like this. And if I made the mouth 1 voxel taller, so it's not completely in line with this, we can make the teeth a bit bigger. Yeah, I think I like it. Let's just make the gaps a bit smaller, and let's not make them overlap perfectly. Something like this. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's better. It's definitely better. Not perfect, but you get a rough idea what I'm trying to accomplish now, hopefully. So let's make the top of our skull a bit more round. Like so. Let's turn the guides on, and also another little trick I like to use is if you mirror and you just color the stuff on the left, it's gonna be mirrored to the right, so like so, and we can see the shape, and then just use the, what is this called, the create mode to add the actual voxels we're missing. So we can add some more details on the side. Like this, and then yeah, something like this could work, I guess. Although I would like to do it. I would like to do something like an S shape here, though we don't really have, we only have like 4 voxels to work with, so yeah, let's not get over the board with the not as important details. Maybe like so, and then let's just make it a bit narrower for the chin. This could look like a decent skull, even though it's probably quite big for a normal humanoid. So luckily we have some bigger entities in the sandbox. You don't only have humanoids, you have some bigger bipedal creatures like orcs and I don't know what else, so perhaps this is a skull of an orc. And let's just add some shadings. What is this? We could actually add a golden tooth. That was suggested last week on the test stream, but sadly we couldn't add it to the skull because it was it didn't have enough details. So let's see, I did like so. Should it be shinier? Like this, and then maybe we can add a no. I'll just leave it like that. And then we can also, or maybe we should just put it here so it's not too symmetric, and then use a darker shade to like separate it a bit. So perhaps this is one tooth and this is another one, and yeah, dental hygiene probably wasn't their primary concern while looking for booty, so yeah, perhaps yeah, this one is getting slowly destroyed by bad dental hygiene, so okay. Let's see what something like this would look like. I think that's too much. Let's just, it's also too dark in my opinion, so let's just do something like this maybe, and do the same thing for the nose and for the mouth. And we could actually add some cracks or some fractures, to something like this maybe. Who knows how this came to be, but this one should be a bit more higher up. Maybe something like this. We can always come back to it and add some more stuff. And it is actually, let's center our pivot vertically. So it's at 16, and then we should move it just to the 0. So it's nicely centered inside of our ship wheel thingy. Okay. Next we could add perhaps some cushions on our back of the chair. Let's turn on the ghost so we see which side is actually correct, and let me just take a sip of water because my mouth are getting a bit dry. So this red probably looks quite good on it. So let's see where we wanna So if we do like, I don't know, 4 on the side and we don't have our mirroring on, so okay. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just fill everything else with this red. And then on top as well, let's leave 4, 2, 3, 4. Even though it's actually gonna be mostly blocked by the skull, it's alright. It's alright. And then we can add some other details. So let's see. We should use the line tool like this, like so. And now we have to decide how many intersections we want. So if we did it like this, I think that would be a pretty decent shape. And we can add some buttons on these 2x2 overlaps. That's actually intentional, so they're a bit thicker. And you can see how easy it is if you work with the mirror tool, because it actually does 50% of the job for you. And now let's just delete our, well, not delete, but let's just hide our ghost. Okay, and the last ones, let's not forget about the last texture, and also as well here on the bottom. It's probably gonna be hidden behind the seat, but oh, it's actually not. Okay. It's good we remember that, and let's add like some golden buttons to them. This one might be too bright, so let's use the dark one. And I just realized I can actually use the fill tool to just speed the whole process up. Also, we could add some depth if we made the top part bright and then the bottom part dark. Yeah, there's no link in the chat, and I also didn't add it to the description because I didn't have it, so hopefully the moderators can fix that so you can enter your submission. Thank you. And once you have many details, it can be a tedious process to work over them, but yeah, it looks quite nice. And let's also add a bit, I mean, one shade darker outline around the cushion. So we add some more depth to our whole chair or throne per se. Let's see. Okay. This looks like it could be fit for a Pirate King. And probably we should just extend the whole cushion texture to our seat. So let's turn on our ghost. And I think we use this one. And you can also roughly see how wide it is here. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. Is this 4? Yeah, it's 4. Okay, let's add outline. So, and then just add our diagonals. Let's move to the more of a bird's eye view perspective. Okay. Just make sure they're nicely diagonal, and let's add our button magic. Although this could actually be just the darker color because they don't get as much light. Something like this. Looks quite good. Now for the armrests. Let's get back to these guys. So on one of the reference images I saw like little skulls being on the edges, so we could try and do that if we could incorporate them somehow. They would probably have to be wooden, or well, they wouldn't be actual skulls, they would be modeled out of something, or not. They could have, I don't know what pirate kings use for for their throne decorations, but let's just try and do something with this golden color. So where do we want to have our eyes? Thank you, cow. I hope I pronounced that right. This is not gonna work like that. Like this, perhaps. Awesome. Let's move. I'm still getting used to moving myself on camera because everything is mirrored. Okay, oh, I got some stuff on Discord. Okay, so let me just copy this form. And also, let's see if I can post it here. Does this work? Let me click on it. I'm not gonna fill it out, don't worry guys, but okay, it works for me, so let me know if you can get to the form. Hopefully it works now. I'm not too sure about this one though. Definitely not like that. I just see the whole thing. I mean, they're not bad per se. Awesome. They're not bad, but I think something could be done better. I'm just not sure why what right now. Let's see. Nope, that looks like a monkey. That looks like a screaming monkey. Okay, so let's just let's say this is fine, and then move it down a bit. What is? Oh, okay. So we need to deselect it, and then let's add another layer to it, and let's also turn on our nice lines so we can see better, and then Let's see if we can add another layer, though this might be a bit of an overkill. And I'll just revert it back if it turns out to... This would actually be like a monkey skull though. Kind of reminds me of a monkey skull. Thank you, Diego. Have something like this though. It could work. It could definitely work. So if we just trim our bounding boxes, let's just check how many faces we got. Okay, so 750, that's not too much. Though these two guys will add quite some because there's two of them. Okay, and also we can start adding some shades here on the side. And wait, is this? Where am I mirroring this? Okay, so it's... Oh, okay. So let's turn this off and turn the correct one. You can't actually see it because it's hidden under this layer. I mean, if we delete it, you can see my lines that were mirrored, like here, but we don't want that. So let's just add some more shades. Oh, yeah. Well, here I messed up because it's not actually perfectly symmetric because we have wider margin here, at least I think so. So it's on 18 and our mirror line is on 24. So it's actually mirroring here instead of here. So yeah, let's turn that off and let's just do it manually. And of course I didn't turn it off. Okay, so we got the shading done on this part. We can also color this plane one shade darker, and I'm not really sure, we could do something like a bit of detail here if some light is coming from the side, and also do the same thing on the top. Let's just add some light to the corners, like so. And here there's not gonna be one. Perhaps we can add some highlights to the skull if we want to. Okay, this looks pretty fine. And what I figured out is we could also make the sticks a bit darker on the top because they're right under the armrest, so not so much light comes to them. So let's just do it like so, and we could also turn on our mirroring, but it's a minor detail, so we can do it manually as well. Okay, so we're done with that part. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, And of course this part is gonna have to be fixed, but there's really no point to duplicating this and flipping it before I'm completely satisfied with what it looks like. So yeah, we'll fix this later, and hopefully I don't forget. I mean, of course I'm gonna be reminded if I try to upload such asset to the marketplace. There are some precautions involved, so something like this doesn't happen. And here we could actually use our mirroring tool for the shade. To add some more depth, and now I'm actually thinking if we should go all the way and fill this with even darker color to make it even more deep. But I think this looks fine actually. And perhaps we should do the same thing on the side. Because it's nice if you keep some theme over your asset. So you kind of use the same colors from the palette and stuff like that. Okay. That looks good, and we could also do something on the front. I'm not yet sure what, but we'll figure it out. And another dilemma I have here on the skull is that it looks all the voxels are a bit tricky to work with, because something can look good from the front side and then it looks completely messed up from the other side. So I don't think I wanna add too many details or highlights and shades to this. So let's just add like another line here so it's somewhat attached to the whole thing. And I think I'm pretty satisfied with what this looks like for now. If we get some good ideas later, we can of course add some more stuff. And then maybe just add some pattern here for the chair. It could be like some diagonals like we did before. So if we use the darker shade, let's see how much space we actually have. That's not really a lot of space, so let's do something else because there's not enough room. Or we could actually do diagonals, right? Who says we can't do it? Well, this is more like a checkbox or something like that, but it fits better with the whole thing, in my opinion at least. Also, but it doesn't look quite as diagonally-ish, if that's even a word. So let's try and do something like this. I think I like this. I prefer this though. Okay. And actually, if we stick to a pattern like this, we could also repeat it on the armrest. So, of course, in a bit larger way, because we have more room to work with. But we can use like the same theme or whatever you want to call it. So let's just make it symmetric, and then let me look at it again, what it looks like. So you go to diagonal, then you have two right spaces and then another diagonal, like so. It's not really complex, but it adds a bit to the whole thing. And we could also do it on the back. We could, we'll see. So this looks quite well. And yeah, but this, okay, so this whole thing, yeah, we'll have to do something about this whole. So I think the easiest fix would actually be if we just made not this, but something like this. So we actually hide the the parts behind it, so it doesn't look as messed up as before. Yeah, congrats, Kyle. You won. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Well, we're gonna stay here for a bit longer, but okay, so let's move. You can see here we have some clipping issues, so let's just move it outwards a bit, and then we can move the whole wheel inwards a bit. So this actually sticks to the back of the chair. And it also looks more scully because it has the black parts behind. Now I'm thinking if we could add some details to the wheel, because it's actually made from a really simple part that we just duplicated and rotated around. So let's do this, and we can also make them completely mirrored, because yeah, that's just the way this part is. So if we add a bit darker tones to the edges, they would hopefully look a bit bigger, but we can also make them actually thicker. And let's try to do that. So and like so, though it's really chunky. I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's just see what it looks like if you do it like so, but definitely looks better, but it's still too big. So let's just delete this. Okay. So that's for the wheel and the skull. Now let's see if we can do something about that mess I was talking about at the start. And also, I think this looks a bit too boxy, so let's see if we can do some tricks. Let's see if we can rotate it for like, oh, 45 is too much, so we need to do like 22 and a half. Let's see. We can do it in the inspector, right? So 22.5. And then we just need to rotate the skull in the reverse. So that's, I think, 337.5, I think. Yeah. It looks a bit better in my opinion, because it's not as aligned with the ground or the vertical lines. Okay, so let's do the mast, and also it's a bit harder now that we have some textures on our stuff, but yeah. So let's delete what we don't need, and let's just recenter. I mean, just move our pivot point so we can actually use the keyboard shortcuts. That's like the weirdest bug ever that I've seen. Oh, and when we're using the mirrors, we should be really careful what we're deleting because it can easily go overboard with the whole thing. So how large does this have to be? It would probably have to be like 4 blocks tall, so that's 128. And I think if we do it like 6 by 6, it should hopefully be thick enough to give us this sense of sturdiness. And let's just delete the corner voxel so it's a bit more tubular shaped. And also let's recenter our pivot now that we know where it actually has to be. Like so, and then we move this to the ground. Awesome. And since this is gonna be behind our back, we could actually just add it as a child node to it. So let's do this, attach our VXM, and it's actually not taller than our wheel, though that isn't necessarily problematic. And if we and also it's nice because it's otherwise it would align perfectly with this part, and yeah, now it doesn't, so it adds some more depth to our project overall. And then we need our like horizontal part thingy, so I don't know, I'm just gonna name it mast 0, but yeah. And that's gonna be, let's see, 2 blocks, and we should, what should we do? We should rotate it around the blue axis, which is Z, I think, yep. Or Z, whatever you want to pronounce it. And let's center it here because yeah, that's where its center is. I mean, it's not gonna be on the ground. So I'll just name it the same thing because that's the easiest way to remember everything. So I move this up. We don't want to move it all the way up because then it looks just like a T. Something like this, so we actually have an idea of mast, and then move it outwards a bit so we can add like some cloth or something that's gonna hang behind the back. So let's duplicate this and let's just name it flag. Yeah, I guess you can name it whatever you want. It can be a flag, it can be a sail or whatever. So we just got a rough idea of how wide it should be. Let's put like 56, and then I think it should be too deep, and it can be around 3 blocks tall at least, so that's 96 if my memory doesn't work wrongly. Yeah, I started that sentence a bit on the tricky side. I mean, it's tricky to finish if you start it in a wrong way. So Of course, our keyboard shortcuts are not working. Okay, so we filled the whole thing, and let's put our pivot point to 28. Okay, and also our pivot should be on the top if we want to make some animations for some reason, though that would probably mess up the arm rests, because it would create a collision box like in between them, so you can't actually sit or stand on this part. It would be here, so yeah, we're probably not gonna do any kind of animation, but it's just easier to work like that, so that's great. Yeah, it's not flag, it's flag, right? F-L-A-G, like so, and if we attach it here, yeah, we can see it's almost half done, since we put our pivot point on a correct part. So let's move it inwards a bit, but not the whole voxel, because then we're gonna get some issues with clipping again, so that's a big no-no. I mean, you have to fix that stuff later, otherwise it's gonna be broken in game. And we definitely don't want that. At least I don't want that. Perhaps there's some, I don't know. I don't want to speak badly about other artists, but perhaps some guys are just trolls who want to see the world burn, but that's why we have some protective measures in place so that doesn't happen, because yeah, that's not nice to players if you troll them intentionally as a creator. Crow's nest? Oh, that could actually be added to the top of it. We'll see how long this stream can run, how much energy I have left, so that's definitely a great idea. I'd love to do it if we get everything else done in time. I mean, I'm more or less freestyling here, so I have no idea how much more work we have. And also, let's not delete these. We can add something, some kind of a V-shaped formation. I don't think it's called formation, but we can make it like V-shaped. That's the best way to put it, actually. And more parts that we have. Let's see how we're doing on the faces. 800, okay. So I don't have to be as concerned as I am right now. We can do this easily. We used some good practices while making this asset, so yeah, we're on the safe side still. At least I think so, or I hope so. I just do them like this, and I mean, of course, we could do like even finer details, but there's really no real point in doing that. I mean, there is, it looks nicer, but perhaps like 3 here. But it adds a lot of faces. It basically doubles the amount of faces you have, and yeah, as mentioned before, that's a big no-no. As an artist, you have to keep mind on that. And okay, so we could add some like tears or some other or like another skull here on the back. We'll see. Let's get on. Let's try to make the crow's nests. There's gonna be only one, right? It's only one nest. So I think first we should, let me just think about it a bit. Thanks, Diego. Yeah, that hopefully it looks better every time. I don't want to make it look worse. That would be unfortunate. And if it does, please let me know. So yeah. Actually, artists are here for you guys, so you can use cool assets once the game is released. So you should definitely let us know if there's something you'd like to see improved or something. So let's just duplicate this and make a crow base. And since it's gonna be quite small, probably 12 by 12, let's see if this overlaps with any part of the skull or the wheel. We'll probably have to downsize it for a voxel or two. Let's see. So it's like this right now. We'll make it a bit more circular. Circular. That's a tricky word to pronounce if you're not ready to say it. So let's just create another node. Crow base. Crow base. Okay. Let's just move it all the way up. Okay, so this can actually be even a tiny bit larger. It can hopefully be 16 by 16. That's a pretty decent size. Let's try to recenter it so we can make it more circular shaped. Or let's turn this on so you can actually see what I'm doing. Also, I can see better what I'm doing. That's always a good thing. Like so, and we forgot to turn on our. And now I can just use the fill color tool, and it should duplicate this once I make it satisfactory, like so. Okay, and now we just also can duplicate on this. Just why is this not working? Okay, awesome. And this is also centered, which is great. Okay, and it's still not too large as to collide with these guys, and we'll actually do a pretty similar trick I did here for the nest, but in a bit different way. So we should probably just duplicate this and then call it like a nest side. I don't know. There just have to be unique names. It really doesn't matter what they are called. So let's put it like 24, and then we can try 2 by 2. And of course this is not working again. So let's try putting it on a 1.5. I don't know. There's also some tricks you have to be careful at how you do the how you put your pivot points when you're rotating your assets, but I think this should be fine. And let's just that's one shade too bright, right? It should be like so. And if we attach this to our base, let's see if it's actually too wide, if I should make it like 1 by 1. So this is like what, C side 0, so it's definitely quite long. So you can see here, since we have our pivot point on the side, when we rotate, it rotates nicely, and if I put it on the other side, so it's on the edge, it's actually gonna look quite wonky. You can see here, so that's what I was talking about before, but that's really not as important right now. I just want to let you guys know. And 24 is a bit much, so let's try with 16. And let's turn this off. And I think I like 16. So that's half a block tall, and that's gonna be one hella tall asset, but what can you do? It is what it is. So like 15 degrees, that's pretty good. I think it shouldn't be much more, or maybe. We can play with that later, but let's also do like the side thingies here. And also, well, we're gonna trim the volume down later. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5. Oh, come on. Okay, like so. Awesome. Okay, and what we're gonna do then is, I don't think we need like 8 here, so we're just gonna put them on all different sides, and then we're gonna do some diagonal parts that will connect them through the intersections. I don't think they're actually intersections, they're just gonna connect them together. So let's duplicate our node, name it CS1. This naming can be... I mean, you could spend the whole day just renaming stuff. And now we move it to 8 and to 0, like this. Let's duplicate it again, CS2. Oops. 2 to 8 and to 0. And the last one is gonna be CS go. No, I'm just kidding. CS3. But I don't know, would Valve copyright strike me if I use that node name? Hopefully not, but okay, so this is like the basicest shape, but since we wanna do something not as blocky, let's try with 15 first, and we'll see. Oh, hello. Hello. I think these are all now at 15. So now we just have to connect them together. Another thing we could try to do, but I don't think it's a good idea. So let's not go in that direction. I was thinking about making like the base larger and then moving it up and hollowing it out, but yeah, it's probably easier to just do it like this. So we can name it let's name it a crow stick. And now we just have to add them to our base again. So let's just name them sticks because S I think might be already taken, though I'm not completely sure. And these also have to be like, oops, and I can't undo. Can I do this and then undo? Okay. Okay. So let's do. Come on. Okay. Now let's fill this in, and I think we want to have them on the middle, but 16 is way too much. So let's add our stick to the base and rotate it 45. So we got a rough idea of how large it should be, and it hopefully gets to the outer sides, so we can help ourselves a bit with these bounding boxes. So have something like this. Is 14 too much? Now let's just put it like 12.6, and now we can go in and delete everything that sticks out of our shadow or ghost. That's what it's called. So yeah, here we can see some clipping because we moved it up a bit too much, but otherwise I think this is good. We just have to trim it down. And now let's move it to like 13.7, so it's nicely in the middle. And now we just have to do this for all 4 other sides. Let's duplicate our node, name it stick 1. And so this is 12.6, so if I just move it diagonally to minus 12.6 and rotate it for 180 degrees, which is 2 to 5. Okay, so we're halfway. Now let's duplicate this one and create stick 2. Sick, well, we don't want that, we want sticks, not 6. Stick, okay. So this is 315. And now we just have to figure out how I want to position that one. So this one is 12.6 in that direction. So let's see, can we put it 12.6 here? Like so. And is this 0? Okay, awesome. Then we can just duplicate it and then it's stick 3. Rotate it all the way around and just move it again to 12.6, 12.6 of course. Okay, and here's our mini crow nest. So perhaps he can have a parrot or something in there. And again, we can see it's like really aligned with everything. So I just think I want to rotate the whole thing for 45 degrees. So it's a bit more dynamic overall. Okay, now we can move back to the flag. and see what we want to do with this. So we are mirroring over red. Let's see if we can get some skull here as well. I'm just gonna start with a nice large rectangle, and let's see where we're gonna go from here. Also, we can actually just downsize it a bit, and we lost our skull, but that's not really a problem. So okay, we didn't start at the center. So let's see, something like this, a bit narrow. This is better. This is good. This is quite good. And let's see if we can put in some ice, some skull ice. And this nose is really too big. Okay, perhaps like so. Then a big smile. Let's see. We had like something here. So I don't like that it's like so. Yeah, this looks much better. Then let's move it here. So the mouths are really deep down. Let's see. I think I will like it this way, but we can perhaps the eyes could be. I think this is fine for the beginning. Yes, and we can use some other shades to make it a bit more detailed later. So let's see. Can we add some bones on the side? Also, are they perfectly diagonal every time? Or are they more like skewed hoops? That wasn't what I wanted to do. So perhaps we can do something like this. Oh. Let's see if they're 3 thick. No, it's 3 thick. That's some tricky stuff to pronounce, oh my god. Yeah, it's actually really simple, but it adds, I think it adds a lot to the whole composition. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And after the third one, it's actually 4. What am I doing wrong? Like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this one has to be a 3, like so. That actually looks surprisingly good. I didn't expect it to look as well, and also I think like here it's 1 up and here is perfectly aligned, so let's just move everything down, though this select mode is a bit tricky and it can break the whole thing down, so let's just avoid this because we've been working for some time and well, of course we're saving our progress, but it would be a shame to have to just relaunch everything again, because of some bug. So let's just stick to what we know works. Like so. Awesome. And we can add a nice little part here. Add some more depth. Let's zoom out. Oh yes, we have to double the voxels. Right. Awesome. And also it looks quite good with this skull on the front side. I didn't expect. Now should we? Now it's actually 2 voxel sticks, so we could cover it up, but I actually like that these bones are showing through. So I think I'll just leave it as it is. And now of course we can add some more minor details to make the whole thing a bit more detailed, but let's try to not overdo it. I don't know if I like it like so. Perhaps we can add some teeth and that's it. Oh, come on. And let's not make it symmetric. So, a bit of a gap. And then on the bottom as well. And then we can use some darker shades to like differentiate them. Like so. And then let's just add some anti-aliasing, so it looks smoother basically. So we can do some stuff like this. And we're not mirroring, so we should do that now, and let's just do it for both sides, like so. Something like this, and let's add another line here, like so. Okay. Now let's add some highlights on the top. And we can break them down a bit, like so. It looked better before. Something like this. And then we can do also something like this. Yeah, that's just too much. if we try to put them everywhere, it's just gonna get messy. So sometimes more is less, or less is more, or whatever that's called. So some more highlights on our bones, I mean on the skull's bones that are on the flag. To be completely precise with my wording. And let's add some shadows for some 3D effects. It looks 3D. I mean, it looks more 3D than before. It doesn't look as flat. Let's go with that. Like so. And I'm actually not sure if I want to extend them all the way to the skull or if I prefer them this way. Okay, so that's pretty decent. And another thing we can also do is add some tears, perhaps. So let's see if I want to do that. Let's add this, and if we just push it through, there's some holes in the flag, so we can see it was actually used, or it's worn out a bit. So also this adds more faces, but we're still under 1000, I think. So we're just a bit above, so that's not a big deal if we add a couple. So let's have a bit bigger tear here on the top. Something like this. And perhaps something more here. Like so, and then maybe the last one somewhere around here. Something like this. And I'll just cover this up like so, and perhaps some tears on the side. We need to turn back our fancy lines. So we go here, 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 here. Maybe a little one here. I'm just trying to keep everything balanced so it doesn't look like it's torn on one side like a lot and nothing on the other. We definitely don't want to do that, to delete our whole plane. So let's do this. And maybe like something smaller here. And perhaps something smaller here as well. So that's about it for the tears. And now we can also do some shades if we wanted to, but I don't think that's really necessary. I think the flag looks pretty darn good as it is. The next thing that we have to do, let's just check this side, and I think we need to figure, I mean, we don't really need to figure some details for the side, but it would be nice if we did. So let me just try and replicate this pattern here. So we also turn this on. Like so. And let's see how this one starts, so we can kind of mirror it. So there are two voxels here. Then we just continue our pattern. That's not a nice line, so let's do it like so, this as well. Okay, just some minor details. So now we can finally, I think we're ready to duplicate our side 0 to side 1. And let's just save everything, so if anything crashes, we don't lose everything. We worked so hard today to make. So we have our flipped side, because this one isn't displayed right. So let's move down a bit here and let's just add our side 1 so it's nicely symmetric on both sides. Awesome. And the last thing I'd like to do is just add some wood textures to our mast, just so it isn't as plain. I mean, Char has many details and it would probably be a bit messy if I tried to add more stuff, but this is kind of plain and boring, so we can add some simple lines after we get our keyboard shortcuts working. Okay, awesome. So I like to start just making some nice long lines, which are gonna be like bases for our texture. And they tend to be in a darker shade, because I like to add just I like to just sprinkle the highlights on them, because they can overtake the whole thing if you add too much bright colors. Okay, so we have these base lines, we can just add some other shorter ones. And there's, I mean, everybody does their texturing a bit different. Currently that's how I do it. If anybody else does it in any other way, they can let me know. But I'd argue there is not only one like correct and others are incorrect ways. So just do it in the way that you like. And I also like to sprinkle a bit of darker. They're just one shade, so dark detail dots. So let's see, add some here and maybe something like this here. So looking at the clock, we're probably gonna finish in about 13 minutes. I had no idea how long this stream was gonna go on, but we managed to pull through 90 minutes, and we're nearing the next half an hour, so that's probably gonna be it for the day, because we made some great progress with this, and I'm more or less satisfied with it. I mean, if anybody else has some ideas, I'd love to hear them in the chat. So we can try to implement them, like the little crow nest somebody suggested. So let's let's add just some brighter points, and if you see, like, there's quite a lot of dark and just a little bit of bright, because that's the way I like to do my texturing. That's basically all I can say about that. I mean, there are some more rules when you're trying to make bricks or stones, but with wood it's at least I don't think there are some specific rules or guidelines on how you have to do it. And I'm also a bit sick of making wood textures, because we had like pirate assets for over a month. I mean, not over a month, but I made a lot of wooden stuff in the last, like, I don't know, 25 days, so yeah. Okay, so this is pretty fine, let's say. I don't know where I should add it here. maybe like this, and then this one can be on this side. Yeah, I don't know, something like this. Also, I mean, you see, you have to be careful because this looks like a bit too close, but if you move it too much in this direction, then this looks wonky. So yeah, I actually checked with how Minecraft does their texturing, and they actually cheat a bit because they can have a different color on the top side than on the side. So yeah, a little Easter egg if you didn't know about that, because they use. I mean, I think they don't have like a specific modeling tool. They just do the faces and then put them on their models. Okay, so this looks way better than before. I mean, it's not as boring, and I think we can just add some more details to the wheel and other non-essential parts of our throne, just to make them a bit more dynamic and realistic looking. So, wait, it should actually be this shape. Are they? And now this one should be. These are actually the same. Okay, so we have to do. I didn't realize that. Let's do it like so. And here again, if I did it here, it can be easily messed up. So I like to do just some small details on diagonal sides. So no more here, and maybe here, like one. So this looks fine, and then we can just mirror over our y-axis when we try to add some details to this wheel part. And the most seen are actually gonna be these parts, but they will be repeated, so there shouldn't be too obvious of a pattern, hopefully. Let's see. This is... Well, you can see it's actually you can see they're here, 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 and here are the same ones, and here, here, and here. But we can do a little trick. I hope it's gonna work. And oh yeah, that's not gonna work because they're parented. Yeah, that's just gonna be our little secret, so don't tell anybody. Okay, so we're done with this. The mast is not really gonna be seen a lot, but there are some other... I mean, there's no point in decorating this part because it's hidden under the back, but here we can do some stuff. Here we can do some stuff, I guess, like so, and on the sides as well, a bit. And let's just hide our... And we don't... I mean, is that actually problematic? We can cheat a little bit, I guess. So let's make our main lines here on the side, and then we can make some different variations of what happens to them, just so it isn't too symmetric. We don't have to be as careful here because it's not gonna be seen as much, but it's still nice if you put some care into making your assets. So some more details. Let's maybe add a little bit here, and then just some highlights. Like so. And then again, most of this upper part is not gonna be seen, so we don't really have to bother decorating it because we're running a bit out of time. I mean, we're not really running out of time, but I just don't wanna make this whole thing too long, or just spend like 3 hours deciding where I wanna put my next highlight. So we're gonna do this the easy way. Just putting some colors down and checking if it looks good. Well, it definitely adds some detail to it. You can see it from the side. And let's not forget about our crow's nest, because yeah, it's a part of this asset as well, and I don't think we really have to do much with the base because it's not really seen as much, but we can definitely decorate this. Oops, I got 2 glasses, so I accidentally hit them. I mean, one is standing and I'm putting the other down. Yeah, if that's the worst thing that happens today, I'm gonna be actually really happy. I mean, nothing spilled or anything, it's just if you hear the clank, that's what caused it. Let's see, on which side is this actually? And if you're not actually editing it on a node, you don't get to see the ghost thingy of the whole asset. So we can get some ideas where it's gonna be, and I think it's good to put it here because it's not gonna be just a block or a voxel. It's gonna get meshed a bit with the other part. Let's check it out. Yeah, you can barely see it, so I don't know. It might cause some issues here if you can see it sticks out a bit, so let's not do that. Let's perhaps move it here. Okay. And then let's just put some more details on this part. Like so. Like so. And like so. Okay, awesome. Another thing I think we can do with this skull, I mean, I just think it's a bit too down, these parts, so I'm just gonna try to move up a bit. Let's see, we can mirror it over the X, and let's just delete like 2 voxels and see if that looks any better. It does look better in my opinion. Let's see. So this one should definitely be 2 up, and maybe other ones just 1. Yeah, these are just minor things, and perhaps we can do it like this. No, I'm not really sure if I'm just messing stuff up or if this actually helps, so I'm just gonna remove it. And can we add some highlights to this? This is yellowish. Let's see what this looks like. It doesn't look bad. I don't think so. So let's just... what do we want to do here? Guess like so. It gets more light from the top and not as much from the side. Maybe if we do it like this. Maybe another one. I think it looks fine. And it's now we hit the full hour, so that's gonna be it for today, guys. I'm actually really happy with how this throne turned out. So yeah, hopefully we see each other in a week. So have a great morning, day, evening, night, whatever the time it is at your place, and yeah, bye.